providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Caregiver Crossing. We're so glad that you're here. If this is your first time to join us, well, Caregiver Crossing is a show, and it's brought to you by Joy's House, and it's been presented. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing well this morning. It's presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. I don't want to mess that up. We're here with you every week, and we talk about all things caregiving, and we hope to make you laugh a little bit. We have some fun. We're friends. We meaning I'm Terry Stacy, Tina McIntosh, who has stepped away just for a minute, and also our friend Noah Taylor, who produces the show. Hey, Noah.
Hey, Terry. How are you?
I'm good. I want to mention, we talked about this the last time we all got together. And another name, do you remember Captain Sullenberger?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I actually got to. He's
Captain
the one.
Sully.
Is he the one that landed the plane in the Hudson?
Yes.
I actually got to go to the Aviation Museum in North Carolina. I'm sorry, I'm derailing this story already.
No, it's okay.
But, I got to go to the Aviation Museum in North Carolina and actually saw. They have. I can't remember.
They got the plane?
I think it's the plane there that he landed in the Hudson, and they have like all the background and story about what happened and
155 lives saved.
Yeah,
thanks to Captain Sully. Truly was a miracle. It was called a miracle. Wanted to say about this is that he has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Oh my gosh.
And he's made that announcement here to People Magazine and others that he got a diagnosis in 2025, and he's in the early stages. But he wanted to let everybody know he will keep you up to date, and he wants that awareness to be out there, which is kind of what we talked about last
week.
time.
Yeah, with Danny Glover. I mean, I always think it's so important about how these public figures are really sharing openly about their diagnosis. I mean, it makes me more comfortable, at least talking about my own things. So I imagine it has to make a whole difference for caregivers to be able to share openly and advocate for themselves too.
Absolutely. 75 years old, Captain Sully Sullenberger. That miracle in the early that miracle plane water landing, that was back in 2009 after a bird strike in the Hudson River, reveals that he has the early stages of Alzheimer's, been diagnosed. I wanted to bring this up quickly because I know we've got a TikTok story we want to tell you about. But if you're new to, you've just been given a diagnosis, a friend, a family member has been diagnosed with a dementia of some sort, don't forget that there are programs out there, tracking devices, offering free and low-cost tracking bracelets and medical IDs for Alzheimer's patients and others. And here in the last couple of weeks, here in Indianapolis, we have also had reports in the WIBC newsroom of those that have been diagnosed with a dementia or Alzheimer's and now are on a silver alert because they are out and lost and moving about. Those have all actually ended up in pretty good. They've both been found and
good
and safe, and that's always the good news. But these tracking devices, go to Project Lifesaver because they've got those available for you. Just look that up, Project Lifesaver. They will they'll give you a personalized waterproof radio frequency wristband, and those are awesome. Medical Alert and Alzheimer's Association, they have what's called Safe Return, their program, and then don't forget Bluetooth tags, because Bluetooth tags can be sewn into tamper-proof, waterproof wristbands that you can get online. They can be sewn into those, and those can act as a tracking device once you put those on your loved one. So there's some free stuff. All right, Tina Beanad now making her way back into the studio. Let's talk about a woman on TikTok.
Let's.
I love TikTok.
I do too, and especially when I get to see stories like this. Well, this one actually almost made me cry, sob a little bit, but it's really a heartwarming story.
Oh my gosh, it made you sob?
I mean, it's a happy
just
cry.
A little bit.
A happy cry because this is a woman on TikTok I saw. So she actually wears bells while walking her blind dog, Rosie, so that Rosie can follow the sound of her.
Okay, that's so sweet.
No, this is so sweet, and it was it's a happy cry, because people like this are so beautiful. Veterinarian guidance notes that many blind dogs can still have a good quality of life with patience, training, and changes at home. Now, does that sound like a caregiver?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot in here that we can learn from people who take care of animals with disabilities, that take care of senior dogs and aging cats. Because I mean, there's just so much that we can learn from these people who really take care of blind and
You're
senior
truly special
animals.
because too many of you return your dogs to a humane society or animal care and control because they've gotten older and you can't care for them anymore.
Yeah.
So those that are able to still continue because they're not, oftentimes there's medical bills and it's very expensive, but there's a whole lot of animals that are seniors that are waiting for homes and maybe wonder what happened to their parents.
Maybe that's what made me
them.
sad is
Right.
thinking about all the senior animals who don't get the love they
right.
deserve.
But I will ask you a question. You said there's a lot we can learn from them as caregivers. What are some things that come to mind? Anything come to mind for you?
About what?
So like this woman who wears the bell while walking her blind dog, Rosie. So she's doing that so Rosie can follow the sound, right?
Yeah.
There's routine in there. There's obviously she's using the senses of the dog. Since the dog can't see, there's the sound.
Yeah.
So does that tell you anything about what we can learn as caregivers for the people we're caring for?
For me, I think of two big things. One is just being patient,
Mm-hmm.
just being an active listener, and just give yourself some space to breathe. The other big thing that I'm thinking is that being a caregiver is not always about making drastic changes. Sometimes it can be as easy as wearing a bell on your hand.
Thinking, just creative,
Right.
Problem solving.
Okay, so let's talk about that because I know we don't have a lot of time, so I want to talk about this. Think about the senses, sight, sound, smell. So if you want your loved one to be in a certain room, have maybe not a candle might not always be a right option. Maybe it's a melting wax or you've baked blueberries or something, right, to entice somebody in. Sound. Play somebody's favorite music in a room. Turn off lights. You don't want them in a room. Turn off lights in that room, but turn on lights to where you want them to go. It's one of the things that we did at Joy's house when we were designing the house. Is designed it to pull people's energy in. Draw the blinds closed in rooms where you don't want somebody. Open them bright so they can see the world outside in the rooms where you do want them to be. So that's what I'm thinking.
So smart.
That's what I'm thinking.
I hope you have a top 10 list. You should share those all the time.
Well, and the other thing is routine is important. It reduces stress for people and it clears up mental space.
Yeah.
Does that make sense when I say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think these are important. And I know we were talking about tracking devices before. I'm a big fan of tracking devices, whether it be on a child. My husband, when he went on his big ride, which we'll talk about later, went on a solo motorcycle ride. He had a tracking device on him. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong if the other person knows you're doing it. They've been told it's for their safety and good. A tracking device is really important. So anyway, I know we've got to go, right?
We do. We've got to go.
We'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
You can find past episodes of the show at joycehouse.org and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. If you'd like to connect with us to discuss show topics, need help connecting with resources, have a question that you'd like for us to answer right here on air, or just want to say hey, you can reach us at joycehouse.org or you can email Tina at tina@joycehouse.org. And everybody, please stick around. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app, bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecast, radar, and Indiana sports, all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Terry Stacy, Tina McIntosh, Noah Taylor here. And our next guest, brings a real mix of lived experience, advocacy, storytelling, and leadership to the work of building a more just future for disabled people and the families who love them. Joining us now is Dom Kelly. Dom is the co-founder, president, and CEO of New Disabled South. Hi, Dom.
Hi, I'm so excited to talk with you today.
Well, I'm glad you're here. We're all glad you're here. And I think we'll start out by asking you about New Disabled South. Tell us a little bit about what you've created.
Absolutely. Well, I have been in this world ecosystem, disability advocacy, disability rights for a long time. And I have been working and living and organizing in the South since I was a teenager, and really have seen just the impacts disproportionately on people with disabilities in the South. People like myself, I have cerebral palsy, and so I really envisioned an organization that would kind of break our community out of silos across our region, and bring our folks together to work together to advance change in the South. So, we are a disability rights and justice organization, and we build a base of disabled people who want to be more involved in policy advocacy and organizing. We do original research. We do narrative change and storytelling work, and really are just working toward our mission of liberation and justice for disabled people across the South.
Dom, it's Tina, and it's wonderful work you're doing. I think you're across 14 southern states. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And there, when this started for you, now obviously having a what many would say a life-altering diagnosis for you, you're like, yes, I was born with this, with this diagnosis, and it doesn't fully define who you are by any means. And that, I would imagine, allowed you to see that there were all kinds of gaps out there through your own lived experience and that of people around you. Is that true? And if so, what did that look like? What were those gaps?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm one of a set of triplets, and the three of us were all diagnosed with CP at a year old, and we were recipients of home and community based services when we were kids. My parents relied on Medicaid, and so I saw firsthand what that system is like, and watched my parents try to navigate it. And I think when I moved to the South, really recognized that despite us having my parents having to rely on Medicaid, we also had the privilege of my parents having private insurance as well as their primary, and that there were gaps in care that they were able to fill with that, while also needing Medicaid. And so when I moved to the South, I really saw firsthand that there were a lot of people with the same disability as me, and others who have families who didn't have private insurance, who their parents or family members needed to be their full-time caregiver. They needed Medicaid solely to provide care, some level of care, to get paid to care for their loved one, and just a very different I think circumstance than I had growing up. And so I think what that showed me was that like self-advocacy is so critical, but it has to go beyond that, and that if we really want to see our systems change and do better for our community, then we have to fight for others in our community who may not have the same, for at least in my case, the same kind of privileges and opportunities that I had. And so that was like a really big eye-opening realization for me, and really influenced my wanting to do this work for a living.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, I'm thinking about your parents for a second. They have triplets. Boom, that's a lot, right? Now they have triplets who are going to need some extra doctors and appointments and care and access and advocacy and, support in different ways. Like, and then the three of you, do you brothers or sisters or one of each?
Brothers.
Brothers. Okay. Three boys.
Boys.
I mean, okay, there we go again.
3 boys.
Oh my goodness.
Two identical. Two
Oh
of
my
us are
gosh.
identical. One fraternal.
Well,
Oh
and
my goodness.
are you a case study for something magnificent? Because I mean, there's just so much that can be
Yeah.
taken back in the layers in your life and your siblings. That's fantastic. You, my friend, have shown the world that, there's so much to who you are. And my understanding is you've spent years touring as a musician and a writer and organizer. I know I saw
very
some
cool.
videos of songs you've written for
Yeah.
other people in your life. I mean, a political strategist, like, how have those, I guess is the right way to say it, how have those different parts of your life shaped the way you tell your stories and you build these movements? And I would say, Terry, I think there are a lot of names involved, but just to drop one, I think Indigo Girls was on the list.
Oh man, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Please tell us.
You're just an impressive human. Like,
Yeah.
just stay with
Oh,
us
thank
and talk
you.
forever.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I would love that.
Yeah.
But how have those different parts of your life shaped the way that you are telling stories and helping to build this movement for other people in these 14 states, these southern states?
Yeah, I think it's all interconnected for me. And my fraternal triplet brother, he actually died when we were 6 years old.
No.
And his death really, I mean, of course, impacted me in so many ways. I also have a younger brother who's 3 years younger, and myself and my identical brother and my younger brother, we really bonded over music when our brother died. And we were my identical brother and I were doing advocacy in our school district, in the area we grew up in, disability advocacy. And my mom was like very much in this, she worked in this field, and she was a big advocate. And so we bonded over music and our advocacy, and we wrote songs about having cerebral palsy. We had an album called Tripping Over Nothing. And this was like
Oh my goodness.
this was really just like another outlet for us to kind of like express ourselves and also advocate through art. And yeah, I think, Indigo Girls, I met them when I was like 15, and we were, homeschooled in high school, touring, in our band. And they took us on the road and recorded with them. And what they and also Joan Baez, and some others that I got the privilege to work with, really showed me is that like the music and art and activism are all inextricably linked, and that you can have a platform and use that platform with music to be an advocate and activist. And so they really were the ones to kind of get me like in the movement, like from just being an advocate and telling my story to like being an activist and working on behalf of our community. And all of that and all the other things I've done, I think, have really shaped how I talk about who I am and what makes me who I am as a human, and why I do all of these things, because they're rooted in my own personal experience, but also in just like what I've seen and learned from my community and so many people I've just had the like privilege of getting to know over the years.
It's awesome. All right, listen, can you stick around? I think we went.
He has to.
Yeah, we've got
We're
more
not letting
questions.
you go.
Yeah, can you stick around? We just need to take a quick break. Dom Kelly, CEO of New Disabled South. Probably a lot of you. In fact, how did you find him, Noah? You found him on all over social media.
All over
right?
social media, yeah.
Yeah,
found him all over-
TikTok for me. But
Yeah.
I know we are going to take a break, but your identical brother who passed, would you mind sharing his first name?
Yeah, he was actually my fraternal brother.
Fraternal.
His name was Paul.
Paul. Okay, Paul.
Yeah.
I love that you're carrying on his legacy and the work that you've done throughout your life so far. And so, and Tripping Over Nothing. Can I find that on Spotify? We're gonna have to take a break. Go ahead.
We pulled it down off the internet, but I'll send you a copy.
I would love it.
We would love to
I mean,
hear
it
it.
tells me everything I need to know right there. So I love it. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We are here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. Tina McIntosh in studio with Terry Stacy and Noah Taylor. On the phone, we've got with us, and I hope you're with us this last segment. If not, you're going to have to go back and listen to that. But we've got Dom Kelly, who's CEO of New Disabled South, and he is part of leading a movement really for what it looks like across 14 southern states for people who are living with some kind of a disability and diagnosis. And one of the things, Dom, that you have talked about, there's a phrase, disability justice, and would love to know what that means in everyday life for disabled people and their families.
Absolutely. So disability justice was a framework and a set of principles, is a framework and a set of principles that was developed by a group called Sins Invalid back in like the mid 2000s, and really was born out of a need to think about how we build community and identity around disability that like takes into consideration all of all of our unique lived experiences and intersectional identities. So the way that looks for our work is that we really ground ourselves in those 10 principles and really consider ourselves to be not just a disability justice organization, but a racial justice organization and a climate justice organization, and you name it. And it looks in the work for us like we did a report on Georgia, their home and community-based services waiver waiting list, and identified that Black disabled people are waiting longer for waivers, and non-Black disabled people receive waiver services more than Black disabled people. And so we were able to have that lens that revealed some really important disparities that we need to address when we're fighting for increased funding, for example. We really, and that's just one example. I mean, we are in every issue and every campaign and everything that we do, it is critical for us to have that intersectional lens, and that we look at every issue as a disability issue, because disabled people are impacted by everything, whether it's climate or anti-LGBTQ plus legislation or whatever it is. Like it's critical for us to take that lens. So that's like a very high level, like how we look at integrating disability justice into our work.
Dom Kelly is with us, CEO of New Disabled South. Dom, what would change if disabled people and caregivers were treated like experts in policy conversations, not just as people sharing personal stories? What would that look like? How would it change?
Oh, this is the stuff I dream about. I mean, it would mean that we have a system that where care is a given, that it is a human right to be cared for, where people who need to care for their loved ones are compensated in a way that allows them to take care of themselves and their families and pay their bills and have a living wage, because caregiving is a job like any other job. And it would mean that disabled people at whatever level of care that they need have that care, that they're not punished for it, that they can get married and they can seek employment without having to suffer the ramifications of having too much money in their bank account, or whatever kind of limitations are there. Like I think if we were seen as experts and we were not just at the table but we built the table, I think we would have a system that like values care as just something that is critical for us as humans in our survival and our ability to like have a world that is where people take care of each other.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
And Dom, here at Joy's House, which is, we're in the Joy's House studio, and this radio show, Caregiver Crossing, is a part of the Joy's House Center for Caregivers, and we're in Indiana. Doesn't mean we don't serve people outside of the state, but we are a resource for family caregivers and help connect folks throughout the state of Indiana. And, one of the things that happens, we know when we talk about care partners, caregivers, they're also praised for a sacrifice that they make in their lives, but that praise can sometimes hide like how little support they're actually giving or getting in the community and through government and society. And I know you speak to that as well. And so, how do we honor caregivers without romanticizing how hard that role can be in someone's life?
Yeah, I mean, I think one is paying caregivers a living wage, and like valuing that as a job, as something that is, while I don't agree with how we talk about work and attach people's value to being productive, we that's the society we live in, and so I think like caregivers would be seen as contributing members of society, which unfortunately I think it is not seen that way. It's sort of, I've seen people say before that, why should our tax dollars go to, this, when that's their job, they're a parent, right? Like that's your job. You're supposed to take care of your
Yeah.
child or your loved one, and people don't understand until they're personally impacted that it is labor, and it is work, and it's rewarding, and it is, in some cases very selfless. But I think if more people realized that they will one day be in need of care, that they could see it less as this self-sacrifice. Look at this, amazing person, and just like something that we all will have to do and receive. And if we can shift that lens, then I think we can see, the increase in pay and all the things that I think we need to have a really functioning care economy in this country.
Quite frankly, it should be a part of long-term planning nowadays. I mean, that's just the reality is that it is part of your future, whether you know it or not.
Right.
And so I know we're going to have to go here in just a minute. Terry, I apologize.
No,
a
go
quick
ahead.
question, Dom, is if somebody's listening and they're not in one of these 14 states that fall into this new Disabled South movement and effort, where you are CEO, again, Dom Kelly is who we're talking with, how can they join in? How can they be supportive? How can they make a difference in their communities and learn from the work that you're already doing there?
Yeah, well, we work in 14 states, but we really kind of see ourselves as a national organization that is trying to make sure that people don't forget about the South. And so we have people who volunteer and mobilize and take action across the country. So there's always opportunities to do that. But I also think, and I use this term not in a partisan way, but in thinking about like a movement, like find a political home. Find a place, an organization, whether it's local or statewide or national, that there are like-minded people who are working to make a difference. And whether it's an actual membership with membership dues, or you're just going to events, or you're learning and doing civic education, and there are so many opportunities and so many organizations that are building these kinds of places, and they're everywhere. So we also have partners across the country who do this. And so, yeah, if folks don't know where to start, reach out to, you can even email, my assistant's going to kill me, but you can even email me directly, Dom at newdisabledsouth.org. And I'd be happy to connect anybody with some, really cool people who are doing some cool work around the country.
Well, Dom,
but it really starts with like finding those people.
Awesome.
We want to get to know you better and figure out ways that we can uplift and support and encourage and empower, each other in the work that we're doing. So Noah will follow up. Before we have to go here, I do want to say thank you to Dom. Noah, thank you for calling our attention to the work that Dom's doing and the life that he's just, sharing with the world. And so, Dom, thank you for everything. Appreciate both of you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Stay put, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Every day as a small business owner feels like solving a puzzle. One moment you're cruising along, and the next, there's a shipping snag that has you scrambling. But here's a surprise you will like. With Progressive, small business owners save 13% on their commercial auto insurance when they pay in full. So go ahead, surprise yourself. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. We just have a few more minutes here. I'm Tina McIntosh in studio with Terry Stacy and Noah Taylor.
Did you really turn the button on for us to talk?
Yeah.
So we're really talking now?
We're really talking.
Yeah, we have a hard. I'm like, well, listen, we're going to get kicked off the air here in a few minutes. So I want to start by saying this. Dom was an excellent interview, by the way.
Wonderful.
Great work. Thank you. I'm telling you, these social media folks are incredible, and they're doing things bigger than just social media.
Right.
But social media is such a big
It's just
platform.
a big platform. Yeah.
On that note of media, social media, I want to say thank you to Terry. Terry had my husband Jeff on her show a couple of weeks ago about his solo motorcycle trip that he just took across Route 66.
I loved it.
I just
love this story.
Thank you for taking the time and your platform, and it was wonderful.
First Day comes on after this show, and that was where we had that opportunity to talk to Jeff. It's a cool journey. He took right along, and some of you are doing this, taking that route of Route 66, because it's also a birthday for them, a 100th birthday.
Yeah.
And Jeff got on a motorcycle and off he went.
A
And
1983 Goldwing. My friend said he didn't have done until 2 days prior to the trip.
Just an amazing story. Went solo, completely solo, went by himself.
That he did.
And I think it was a great emotional learning journey for him.
It was. And I love the chance that we get here on Caregiver Crossing to help family caregivers. I love the platform that you have on your show and all the things, Terry, that you've done throughout the, years.
Well, thank you.
The
Thank you for
storytelling.
saying that.
And so
people have great stories to tell, right? I
It's
think everybody
important.
has a story.
Yeah.
And I love hearing them. And I hope
Agreed.
you all do too. I hope you do too.
Well, and we want to hear them. So send them. Send yourself. Email me at tina@joyshouse.org. And so speaking of stories, I think this one's a little bit of a harder pill to swallow. But Noah, you brought us some recent information we need to talk about.
Yeah, so it is a harder pill to swallow, and I think maybe this means a lot to me because it was something that really helped me when I was younger. So a new report found that an estimated 174,000 fewer Hoosier children were insured through Medicaid programs in April compared to January 2025.
Why?
Well,
Is that good? Is that bad? Yes.
they're
Trying
it's
to
both.
filter out the fraud, right?
They're trying to filter out fraud, but there will be people that are
It's just
lost
such a
in the system.
controversial.
Yes.
It's all turned political.
Is
It's
this-
just it is political. It's a political situation, right? With services and resources have been cut
Yes.
for many things. And I think the Medicaid, am I right?
You are.
It
And I
is
think
very right.
Medicaid
I've got
got
someone
cut too.
close to me in my life who is Medicaid supported. And I know that if you don't respond, if you get something in the mail and you don't respond by a certain amount of time, they'll just drop you.
Yeah.
And that leaves more children going without health insurance.
That's absolutely right. And that number actually represents a 20% decline here in Indiana, which the report described as the highest rate in the nation during that time frame.
Yeah, so it's not,
Highest
I mean,
rate in the
get rid of the
nation.
fraud, right? Yes.
Right.
But that's not 20% decline.
That's right.
20% of that was not decline or was not fraud.
I think there will still be children who are lost here in the system.
Oh, goodness
Um,
gracious.
Through no fault of their own.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
This is-
absolutely. It's not
these-
like a child owns
right.
the address where they can go out and open the mail and respond to government systems.
Well, and I'm
Even as
telling
an
you, the
adult.
people who are close in my life that I'm talking about lived in my home for a long
Right.
time. And the amount of mail that comes from Medicaid is outlandish. And so it is hard to know what is a legit thing you need to respond to and what is not. I mean, and I'm a professional. Like
right.
I do this kind of stuff for a living, and it was hard for me to navigate. I ended up at the Medicaid office I think 4 times in a year. And it's not an easy go.
Yeah.
No.
You go in, you don't know what you're talking about. You have to stand there. Something
why
was
does that
supposed
have
to
to
be
be
done
so
2 months
hard?
ago and it didn't get done. I mean, listen, the people who are doing the work are really trying really, really hard, but it's not just about the time or policy issue. This is affecting in the
It's
end.
about a confusing system.
What is a confusing system? And in the end, this is affecting families who are not now getting routine checkups and vaccines and screenings and medications and the care before things become an emergency. And even at that, there was one time we had to go to the hospital, and now my person I love is being billed thousands of dollars for the hospital visit because supposedly the Medicaid was on hold because this person didn't return a piece of paper. But they
it's
did.
maddening.
I was with them in
It's
the office
maddening.
when they did. It's so frustrating.
It is frustrating.
Sorry, I didn't know I was going to get worked up about
No,
this.
I think-
you're like others. You're not alone. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a very sounds like broken, frustrating system.
I think
Again.
it absolutely is. And I'll just share anecdotally too. I was on my dad's private insurance when he was alive and I was in high school. But after he passed away, I had to do Medicaid. So if that wasn't a solution for me, and I had a seizure after my dad had passed away. So if I didn't have that coverage, I would be out of luck. You know? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you would not have gotten the health care that you needed.
Right. Yeah.
Or you would have, and then you would have been billed so much money
So
that you
much
couldn't
money.
survive.
Sometimes
That a
you don't-
child cannot pay for.
Right. And
Right.
sometimes there's not a lot of time to wait, you know? You don't
Yeah.
have a lot of time to wait to go through these processes and channels and brokenness.
Now there are places. I know. I'm looking at my notes here. Indiana Healthy Families Alliance offers free one-on-one help from enrollment professionals for families who are trying to understand. Stay with me here.
Okay.
Medicaid, CHIP, Who's Your Healthwise, HIP, and other options. So that's Indiana Healthy Families Alliance, and they can help to navigate, which is really, really important. And please don't wait until it's urgent.
Right. Let's be
Right.
preventative about this. And I think it's important to note, too, that a child may still qualify even if a parent does not.
Okay, that
for
is
this,
important.
yes.
That is important. So, families aren't just missing coverage because they don't care, but sometimes it's just the directions are hard to follow.
It can be hard to follow. And,
They're not
and I think we know
clear.
that here more than anybody, really.
Here at Joy's house.
I
Or here in
yeah,
just
or
within-
here in this room.
Here in this room, here
Yeah,
at Joy's
yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I know we're going to have to go. I do appreciate you bringing this up. I just didn't know I was going to get my blood pressure was going to go up during this last few
We've got
moments together.
some work to do and some people to care for.
Right. Do you have insurance?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
It is tough, but all right, go ahead.
As
Noah.
we close the show today, we'd just like to remind our listeners that they can contact us for more information and resources to help you through the journey of caregiving at joycehouse.org. Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon & Associates, with 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 4 decades of senior living experience. Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Until next time, take good care of each other.
As a small business owner, sometimes it feels like no matter how much planning you do, there's always surprises, like an urgent, expensive repair. But here's a surprise you will like. With Progressive, small business owners save 13% on their commercial auto insurance when they pay in full. So enjoy a surprise for once. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
What if your home lowered your bills, charged your car, and helped protect the planet without lifting a finger? Every City Ventures home is built with solar, smart thermostats, EV charging readiness, and Energy Star appliances all included standard. It's eco-friendly living without the compromise. Intelligent, integrated, included. Discover California's leader in sustainable new home construction at cityventures.com. That's cityventures.com.